So today I want to talk to you about when the thing is not the thing. So I guess with that, we have in life times when stuff comes up, but so often we're not really prepared to look at what the real thing is. So for me, I got married 4 years ago, and about 2 years into my marriage, I started to feel quite frustrated with my husband about some things, as I'm sure he did with me. It's part of a relationship as well as what I'm talking about. But thankfully, so we're connected to a church called HTB, and we did something called the marriage preparation course, which was amazing, and I highly recommend, where you kind of talk about your values and do you want children? How do you want to bring them up? How do you want to do life? How do you want to manage money? It kind of makes you address things that you wouldn't necessarily naturally think to talk about when you're trying to impress the other person before you get married. And on the marriage preparation, they recommend you come back after 2 years for the marriage course to kind of refresh things. And obviously, if like us, you weren't living together before you got married, then you're talking about things before in a kind of guesswork way, whereas afterwards, you've got the experience of it. So there were things that I felt very hurt by my husband, or that's how I perceived it. And we went on the marriage course and it was really helpful. But before we'd sort of finished it, I said, no, it's really not working. We've got to see a marriage counsellor. And so we did the marriage course. It was incredibly helpful. And we did have some tricky conversations, and there was stuff that it was really helpful to talk about. And I, again, would really recommend it for anyone. But actually, at the end of the course, we went for this one session with the marriage counsellor. And at the end of the session, I laughed and looked at Phil and said, we don't need marriage counselling. I need some counselling. And I think that's it with so much. And I guess the same with my business. So sorry, with my husband. I guess I've got areas of hypersensitivity, but they haven't really been touched on in relationships that are less meaningful or less committed. Whereas suddenly in a relationship where someone's committed their life to me, my guard sort of was let down. So one of my massive things I find as a huge trigger for pain and upset and probably emotionally childish responses is feeling rejected or feeling not wanted or feeling unloved. And so with my husband, if he said something a little bit dismissive, which actually is totally reasonable and just normal conversation, I could take that in very much the wrong way. But initially I directed that at him. And you know, the same with my business. I think working alone was a huge challenge. And if you're not a Christian, maybe this is a bit different for you to hear, but I guess for me, I was like, well, why is God not blessing this? Like, I have good intentions for it. I want to make money for good reasons. I have got visions to change the world and see people free, and you know, it's not just about a bigger car or a bigger house. So that felt quite painful, and for me felt like, well, God doesn't care about me either. But actually, both these things, what they did was they gave me a situation where real feelings could come out. But what I had to do was end up looking inside and realise these situations aren't the problem. The problems are within me. And I believe that everyone's got some things inside them to lesser or greater degrees, because, you know, when the cashier is rude to you, or when you're rude to the cashier, or we were at a party the other night at Kensington Roof Gardens, and someone was waiting for cutlery, and he waited like 1 minute and then came up and, oh, this is awful service, I can't believe it, it's disgusting. And you're like, dude, you need to look inside yourself. You're not really that upset about the cutlery. Try meditation, it might help, but also you need some deep emotional healing because you feel like no one listens to you. That's maybe one of your belief systems. No one listens to me, no one cares what I need, no one cares what I think, no one ever meets my needs. It's not about the cutlery, it's about your inner needs. And yeah, so the thing is not the thing. I think be aware of what you feel, but then ask yourself why. Don't look for external people to blame it on. Yes, people may cause you pain through different things, but actually, you know, we're hypersensitive to certain things, and those are often the indicator of where our real pain comes from. Hope that helps. Thanks. Lots of love.